Yo, we are back, episode 9, the aggression speed run, very aggressive chess, aggressive speed run. Time to get to it, guys. You already know what it is. Hey, man, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button so we can get to 100K subs. We back, guys. Come on with it. Y'all ready? It's time to go, man. It's time to go. Aggressive speed run. You already know what it is. So, we will be doing the aggressive advantage, concrete calculation, pattern recognition, confidence under pressure. Our opening repertoire with white, Jobava London. With black, King's Indian against D4 and Black Lion against E4 here. We will be doing the rating climb from 400 to 2,000. Right now, we're actually at 600. And then here we go. Chess should be fun, aggressive, and fast. And let's begin. Here we go. Let's get in here and let's get our games up. Boom. I'll start the first one. Okay, I'm going to pre-move D6. Let's see what he plays. So, we got a Black Lion. E4 is always Black Lion. Right, he goes D4. We might get a real lion here. We always start with knight f6 to attack the pawn. Let's see if he defends it. And then we go knight d7 and e5 next. If this pawn is defended by like knight c3, bishop d3, or f3. Okay, that is not it. That is not what we want to do. Well, okay. We're actually going to take this pawn because it's free. Then we're going to go back and then try to set up with the lion again. It is a free pawn. Now, you have to adapt. You got to learn how to adapt. F3 is a really bad move. Why? Because the knight's supposed to go there. So we're going to bring it right back home. Knight d7, e5. Whoa, bro. Hey, you tripping. My guy. We playing aggressive chess, not you. Well, my man's is out here tripping. What is this? You can't be doing this. He doing a lot. You know, like there's a lot going on. You know what I'm going to do? Now I'm going to play e5. I'm off the head now. He could en passant. I'll take back with the bishop. But if g5, I'm going to bring my knight over to h5 like this and attack this pawn. So you play bishop g5. I'm going h6. And then I'm going to play queen takes bishop. And then I'm just aiming. When he played g4, I immediately saw this diagonal. So I wanted to really get over here ASAP. That's why I start playing very aggressively on this side of the board. Now I'm going to play check. Always look for your CCTs, checks, captures, threats. And sometimes you just play the check. Just because you see the check doesn't mean you play it. But in this situation, I'm playing the check because the king needs to move away. And his king cannot castle. You see, he's already thinking here. This is why you don't push F and G like this. You should be developing pieces first and minimal pawn moves. You do need to play some pawn moves to get the pieces out. But now look at his king on the run. I would love to get a bishop here now on this diagonal. So I'm going to play the move G6. I know it's not the best move right now. But I do like g6. I want to play h5. Maybe I should have played bishop e7, actually. That was faster. But g6 is just a strange move. It's just, you know, it's aiming at it. He wants to trade queens. I am not going to allow that. So I'm going to bring my queen back to e7. Queen e7. And then he can go, like, you know, switch them up. The switcheroo. It's actually an opening, you know, in a way where they do this kind of thing. And they switch the king and the queen. Now bishop h6 doesn't have the biggest threats anymore. He's maybe trying to hand castle. That's possible. So if that's the case, how do I want to do this? A6, B5. You know what? Because I'm just going to go bishop G7. I'm going to develop and I'm going to get castle. So you see how the black, yeah, he castled by hand here. So now I'm going to castle, and then we have opposite side castles. When whoever castles to the opposite side, or when you castle to the opposite side, whoever gets to the king first is going to win the game. So my next setup here is going to be very simple, pushing everything on this side of the board. Everything. Do we go with a6, b5 first, or should we go bishop d7 is the question. C5. I want to go c5, a6, b5, b4. I mean, let's just go a6 and then push b5. Why not? Why not? Let's go a6 first and then b5. So, okay, pushing f4. We're going to do bishop takes g4 because this is a hanging pawn. So we'll take it for free, attacking the rook now. If bishop e2, then this falls too as well. Always be scanning the board for checks, captures, and threats, right? You want to be looking at that. I just have the innate ability as a Jedi to be able to see the board very quickly, right? But I do lots of tactics. I've done lots of tactics growing up and going through the ranks and etc. So I'm able to spot this stuff really fast, but you will be able to as well. So rook d3, maybe he wants a rook this way type of thing. I'm going to play knight d7 first. I want to just make sure my pieces are good and developed. And then I'm going to launch this attack over here. This knight c5 move is really strong too. It hits the rook. If rook g3, I might just go h5 to make sure I anchor this bishop in, open up this diagonal too as well. So let's see what white is going to end up doing here. So it goes rook e3, putting pressure on this, but I have so many pieces defending this. that it's not real pressure at all. Should I still go with the h5 idea? Maybe queen f6. No, you know what? I'm going to go with what I said before. Knight to c5. Put the knight on a strong square. Now after pawn takes, it actually opens up this bishop diagonal. That's really strong for my bishop. So I'm going to actually take with the bishop and maybe reroute the queen. So he goes bishop e2. At first this was hanging, but it's not anymore. I can take, takes, and then take another pawn. Yeah, why not? It's a free pawn. We'll take here. And if rook takes, then we'll take here. And then I grab a second pawn and open up my bishop diagonal. Remember, we grabbed a pawn in the beginning of the game with knight takes e4. Trade when you're up, not when you're down, as they say. Because he didn't see this, he didn't take it yet. He may not see that it's actually a thing. So let's see what happens. Lots of times you do want to take the free pieces that they give you, right? Or take the free stuff that they give you, whether it's a pawn or a piece. Yeah, he didn't even see it. Oh man, he didn't even see it. Like, you just take it back. I was expecting that, but because he didn't do it instantly, guys, you want to keep material count even. If they take something from you, you should try to keep it level. Or, you know, if they take a pawn from you, let it just be a pawn for rapid development or initiative, or giving up 2 pawns sometimes, but that's a little drastic and you got to know what you're doing. I'm going to move my bishop out of the way, though, because he didn't take it. So now I'm just up a piece. Not only up a pawn and two pawns, but I have an extra piece here. I'm going to go back to the house. So bishop f5. Now my next move is something like maybe queen f6, just to eye this side of the board. So I have a plan of, I love using the bishop battery. So I'm going to go queen f6. Now queen f6. The idea here is I do want to end up taking, and I want to play b5 and b4 and to access queen takes b2, which will be available to me. So let's see what he comes up with. He goes bishop d3. I'm like, can I go e4? I can. Let's go e4. Let's go e4, which is a nice move. If he takes with the knight, if he moves this knight, queen takes b2. Yes, he has 3 pieces attacking it, but really, you know, he had kind of 2 because I had queen takes b2 incoming. He backs the bishop up. Now I'm going to continue with my plan, b5. As you see, this bishop and queen battery is very, very strong. I want b4 to happen to allow this knight to move. It could go to d1, but the fact that I still have this diagonal open is really strong for me. I'll follow up b4. So I'm going to go b4 anyway. And if bishop takes, he's hoping that I take back with the pawn, but I can actually take his knight, which threatens this steal and threatens this as well. Dual action threat there. Dual action saber. So he goes knight e2. That is the incorrect move because remember we were setting this up with queen takes b2. So now it's on the board. Queen takes b2 with check. He has king d1 and king d2. He did go with the d2 option. Now we got to figure out what do we do now. Don't see it yet. Bishop takes is sort of a threat still. Takes, bishop c3. What if I go bishop c3 right now? Wow, bishop c3, knight takes, rook takes e3. Oh my goodness. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Bishop c3, knight c3, bc3. Oh, he took it with the rook. Oh, he did it the other way. Oh, I was actually expecting knight takes and then rook takes, and then my idea was e3 and then knight e4 check. But he went with the rook, which I was not expecting. So now I'm going to go e3 check anyway, just to open up the game. If queen takes, then I'm going to bring the rook over and attack him. I'm also threatening queen takes c2. Wait, is this just winning? I was going to go here, but I think queen c2 is just GG, right? King here and then rook over. Yeah, this is better. This is stronger. I had an idea of rook here first, and then I was going to sack the queen and play knight e4 if queen went back to g3. But that didn't happen. This was stronger because now I can bring the rook here, and this one wins on the spot, boys and girls. And there you have it, a tactical masterclass. Okay, guys. Now, yeah, this was a different type of black lion, obviously. He hung a pawn in the opening. You're going to see a lot of that in this rating range. I love telling students, when they hang it, guys, expect them to hang something. Expect them to blunder a piece or give something away. You want to expect that. And when you expect it, you know, when you see it, you're more likely to play it. It feels good, and etc. So we're going to take here. We're also going to take the queen, and then king moves away. Oh, shoot. He didn't even do it. Is there like a cool mate anywhere? Takes. I could go check. I mean, like, does it really? It really doesn't even matter. Pre-move it. Like, doesn't even matter. You know what? I'm gonna do this. There we go. Okay. So Nice. G and G. So let's do the game review. He won a rematch there, but we got a game review first. 86%. 86%. Let's see what we got. E4. Whoa. I'm getting. Okay, E4, D6. After D6, there's D4 and Knight F6. So going lion strategy. D5. And after the D5 move, all right, we're just going to take the pawn because it's free. He's giving us a free pawn, so we take it. Knight takes. F3 and then knight back to F6. And I was just going to really go for the lion plan anyway. But he gave us this extra pawn. F3 is obviously not the greatest because it messes up the structure. The knight can't go to F3 either. So after G4, we go E5. And then bishop G5. I went H6 to kick the bishop. Takes, takes. And then he went knight C3. And I'm already better here after the check. G6 was okay. They say H5 was a little better. I didn't want to trade queen, so I go back. I develop my pieces. Remember, one thing you want to do is improve your position by just developing pieces and getting them off the back rank. I end up castling. I go A6 because the idea is to play B5 and stuff like this. So F4, bishop takes G4, and knight D7. Pretty easy stuff. Knight to C5. I'll make sure my pieces are on optimal squares. And then I take the knights, and I go back to F5. I went back to the house. Queen F6. E4 was nice because remember, this is what we wanted to do. This kind of came out to be a King's Indian at some point, basically. King's Indian looks similar to this, which is kind of cool that a black lion turned into a King's Indian, but it was kind of cool to see that. Nevertheless, it was an E4 opening. B5 with the idea of B4 to try to dislodge this knight. Of course, he could go to D1, but he failed to do that and went to E2. So we took on B2, and then here the tactics come. Bishop C3 check. Takes, takes, takes. E3, really strong move. And then after taking, rook E8 wins the game really quickly. I just take the rest of the pieces, pre-move the rest, and there it is, and mate, and done. All right, guys, that's pretty easy. Yeah, one thing to do is make sure, especially from white side, not playing F3 and G4, which is important. You got to learn how to adapt, which we looked at before in the other series or other episodes. So let's get to the next game. Get to the next game. Here we go. Okay, we have white. Here we go. D4. I'm pre-moving D takes because y'all like playing this England gambit like it's just the best thing ever. So I'm pre-moving D takes E5. He didn't do it. Okay, that's surprising. Knight to C3. And then bishop F4 is next. There we go. Right. Typical Jobava. Regular stuff. All right. Regular stuff. Internet gambit from him. I lag. There we go. You got to know the tricks and the traps. You got to know the tricks and the traps. That's what this one is going to be called. Know the tricks and the traps. This one is knight to B5. We're already better. This is a very common idea in the Jobava that happens a lot. They bring the knights out because it's normal development. But normal development sometimes doesn't work, especially against the Jobava. Knight B5. Oh, there it is. Now we're already better. Already better. E5 is the only move for him to not lose material. Well, I mean, he's going to lose material anyway. After E5, we can take with the pawn or the bishop. We got him with the trick. We got him with the okie dokes. Got him with the okie dokes. You got to love the good old okie dokes. Good old tricks and traps. So he's in a think tank here because he can't defend this without playing E5. After E5, we're going to take with the bishop. Knight takes, pawn takes. If the knight moves somewhere crazy or wherever the knight generally moves, we play queen takes D5, queen takes D5, and then knight takes C7. King moves away and knight takes D5, which we saw, I think, already in one of the other games before. But nice tricks and traps, guys, in the Jobava London. And the twice. I mean, he's already thinking. So, all right, chat, well, how you feeling? You know, like, how you doing? You know, because we just sitting here talking. We're going to be vibing because he's going to try to figure this one out. And he finds it. There it is. Okay, never mind. Bishop takes E5. Now let me pre-move. D takes E5. Correct. Now it's on the board. Pawn takes knight is the next idea. So he either moves the knight, and he does. So going to D7, I still can take on D5. He can go, what is this? C6, knight D6. Takes, queen A5 check. So I have an extra pawn right now. I don't want him to get this one back. I could take this one, but I'm going to choose the easy route and go knight F3. I'm going to defend the pawn. C6 is his best move. I should go back to C3. Maybe I'll go back to D4. Could go e6 too. A lot of different moves here. Knight f3 just defends the pawn. Let's see what he comes up with.
He needs some milk.
Moment of silence. Moment of silence. Well, guys, you want to make sure you take the free pieces that they give you. But this is ridiculous. I'm going to take the queen. I'm going to take the queen. And all right. That's the end of the video, guys. Have a great one. Make sure you guys subscribe to no. Make sure you guys do subscribe though. But here's the game review. I mean, wow. Okay, so here we go. Let's start the review. D4, D5, knight C3, knight f6, bishop f4. So we always play our same stuff. After knight C6, knight B5. Right, knight's fork here. We not fork, but we already win this this pawn. So E5, bishop takes E5. This is all theory. And here, I have never faced knight D7 too much. It didn't like it. So I'm learning here too as well. Is queen takes D5. Okay, let's see what happens on C6, right? You have to go knight D6, correct? Okay, cool. Takes, I think you take with the queen. This is what I calculated. And then queen A5 check. So I'm just up a pawn, right? I think this is what they want. Yeah, okay, so I should take it, and knight takes. And yeah, we're just up a pawn in an in-game. This isn't the most appealing, though, but I am up a pawn in an in-game. So that's what the engine wanted. But I just chose a more human route. It's like I wanted to keep pieces on the board, knight f3. And yeah, queen g5. That's diabolical, if you will. Queen g5 is crazy. And then we take and we win the game. But one thing to know, guys, is the tricks and the traps. Know the tricks and the traps. That's what we're going to title this one, is know your tricks and your traps, in fact. Because it's going to work. And sometimes even at higher levels. I mean, I've even had it at higher levels where they end up playing this knight c6. Usually they would go c5 first. Imagine this c-pawn like not being here. And this position, I go knight b5 and still end up winning the games. And that happens usually at the higher levels when we push in 17, 1800, 19, 2K plus. Basically, all my accounts are always 2,000 plus. It's really 2,600 plus, basically, to say the least. But it's less of this, but you still get some tricks and traps even at that level as well. So, yeah, guys, man, make sure you know your tricks and your traps. This is it for today in the aggressive speed run, and we'll see you guys on the next video. But make sure you guys subscribe and comment, and answer the pinned comment too as well. Love all of you, and I'll see you on the next episode.